All right. I didn't check my audio yet. Thank you. I know I'll be on here. My list be chapped up. Gotta fix that for you guys. So I'm making fun of my little smile going on here. I'm trying to talk to y'all. So with that being said, I'm gonna just touch this up a little bit. Got a live event going on, so I need to get my description in here so y'all know what we doing, so y'all understand us, and then we can get rocking. For everybody that's out here supporting us, we appreciate you immensely. Thank you. I just got to throw a little picture up. Oh, I like this. I like this. Hold up, is that the new one? What? The team is great. Let me just make sure this is the new one they sent. Okay. Oh, it's getting better. It's getting better. I have to admit, it's getting better. The team is doing some magic for us. Magic. I'm gonna just find out what my co-host is because I don't see him as of yet, and we gotta have the co-host here, right? And then we can dive right into this. For those of y'all who are impacted by our commander in chief, I duly apologize. Where is this dude? I might have to do a solo episode. I'd rather debate the MAGA guy. You coming in?
You never text me a link.
I did. The link is it should be okay. Well, check your phone again. Oh, I sent it to the wrong place. I sent the link to the okay. I sent it to the wrong chat. Oh boy, how embarrassing. My apologies. All right, everybody. I'm getting the right at read to me because I text my casting crew this link instead of the person that needed it. And the reason we're waiting now is because of my incompetence. Feel like I work for Trump now. I'm qualified. I'm completely incompetent. All right. Oh, that was me being inept at what I'm doing. Yes, this is a complete Trumpian movement. I feel very Trumpian right now. Dun, 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 dun. I'm incompetent. And that's all right, though. I see me shining my lips up. Got Dion on here. We're going to discuss some of these issues. I'm going to pin us to the screen. Look at you all clean cut.
Yes. How's the light? Does it need to be brighter or?
One more time? Oh, I didn't.
The lighting. Are we good? Or you need more?
No, you're great.
Okay.
All right.
We're not pinned anymore.
I'm sorry.
We're not pinned anymore.
We're pinned. And make sure it's in the right view. It's not in gallery. No, you're not caught up. For instance, I'm holding my hands here and not doing anything. Let's see what happens. In 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. That's
Good, we're
this.
good.
I'm sorry.
We're good. We're good now.
I know. Seeing I haven't moved my hands. Magic. Did you know that I was skilled in the arts of the mystique?
The sleight of hand. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Speaking of sleight of hand, let's get into this Donald Trump situation. The master of thereof. My father was a certified real life magician that practiced and made some decent money doing it. He was actually one of the premier magicians in the Northeast. True story. So I learned a lot of sleight of hand tricks growing up. I remember in third grade, I wound up doing magic tricks for a talent show. I did good. I don't do any magic now, but I do recognize a sleight of hand when a con man does it. Most of the time. Sometimes I even get caught because a good magician will always make you look over here while you're not watching this. And so I got caught as well. But let us dig into this Donald Trump situation. Where to begin? What would you like to start with? I think that we need to start with we're not bury the lead, as it were, which means not put the topic that's most important in the back, but to bring the topic that's most important to the front, the lead topic. So rather than burying the lead in the back of other topics, instead of burying the lead, let's jump right. Hold on, wait. I would let a few more people come in before we dive in completely. But tonight we will be discussing quite a few things. We're definitely going to touch on this war that is. I know, you're not a big um policy guy when it comes to international politics or whatever. It's not your forte. However, everything I said is coming into fruition. Yes, I got to say it because it's so. Indeed. Let me see what's going on right quick. Give me one moment. Indeed, we did say that you did say that Donald Trump is not calling it a war. Everybody else is calling it a war. He's calling it what, an excursion?
Well, it's officially a war, technically, so that language is being
It was
used.
a war when we started shooting at people with bombs.
Well, let's just say this
All
conflict
right,
has
thank you.
escalated.
All right. I'm sorry, one more time.
I said, yes, this conflict has escalated into war proportions. Yes.
It's escalated to war proportions. So when the entire Middle East was shooting bombs at each other, when Europe was involved, when China and Russia was supporting these attacks, when all of these things were happening, in your MAGA estimation, we wasn't at war yet because Donald Trump didn't say it was war. So what in your when American troops was dying, when the Strait of Hormuz was being cut off and our oil was being choked up and our gas prices started surging, when our bases was being attacked under the MAGA umbrella, you refuse to observe this as a war in its proper state. What has occurred that made you change your mind?
Well, it's been drawn out more than what, nearly 2 weeks now? And I based that on two things, Leo, from previous situations. What happened in Venezuela and the first time we bombed Iran a few months ago. So that's why I had it under conflict. But now that it's being prolonged, now we can use that three-letter word. Happy?
No, I'm not.
Why should you? We never are.
No, I would not be happy that American troops are attacking that America is bombing schools with children in it, that our president is now considering committing war crimes by more war crimes by attacking the infrastructure of another country and this is what he said yesterday, was it? With attacking their the way their energy infrastructure, their water pipelines, when he's saying that he could do a lot worse and just outright commit war crimes. He's been saying he could do a lot worse for a week. Now he's come out and said the quiet part out loud. I'm just gonna just do war crimes. I'm cool with Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, we doing it. Nobody's saying that we doing it. Are you happy?
Right now, no. When it comes to this war, not really, because I didn't really. I when Trump was reelected, I put myself out there like a lot of America First, borderline America only people, based on his first previous 4 years of international peace. Now, the wars we inherited were the problem from the Biden administration, which were Ukraine and Israel. So those are the ones that we inherited.
Up. Slow
The answer
down.
is no. I'm not happy, Leo. That's it.
No, I mean, well, you said in Israel, right?
Right, because he inherited the Israel situation and he inherited the
He
Ukraine
did not
situation.
inherit this Israel situation. Israel is a problem across the board. Full stop. Israel's a problem. The war you're speaking of is where the Gaza Strip was decimated, and this is where your friend, your president, your God
Okay.
bombed innocent people just to kill their president, Mr. If I remember correctly, when Venezuela happened, you were so happy that he proved that he was able to just walk in and take a president, kidnap a president, and take control of a country without so-called American casualties. That you were loving that.
That was
You were
good.
loving the Americans invading another country without casualties. That was something
A
that you
great
just
military operation, but now it's one big kind of looking like a mess. But the media that we're getting is not really as consistent. And so we don't really know what's going on over there other than what we're hearing from the president's Truth Social, because we know the legacy media is not going to give us the entire truth. They hope this man loses. But if he does lose, we all lose. So you have to keep that in
we're
mind.
losing now. I don't know if you comprehend what's happening, if you're watching what's happening, if you're observing what's happening on an international basis versus just what's happening inside of the MAGA bubble or what's left of it, because it's been decimated and he went to war to try and protect it, but it made it worse. Let's not talk about the Epstein files. Let's go to war. Let's go to war. That's problematic. That's problematic. This is not working. Going inside the Epstein files is, or trying to avoid the Epstein files is not helping the situation because now they're going to war. What's happening in this war? He's committing war crimes. So I got a question. This: Are you, as a MAGA supporter, as a MAGA enthusiast, as a Trump lover, accepting the fact that the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is complicit now with war crimes?
Uh, well, let's just say presidents during war, like George W., who are Republican, are often accused of such. So I just want to put that out there.
Yes, right. I suppose you could always dip back to other Republican presidents because, as I've stated previously on other shows, I brought my age up. I know look good for it, but I'm 50. I made half a century on this planet. And every Republican president in my lifetime for the last half century of this country has gone to war in the Middle East. So yeah, suppose if you're a Republican, you can look at other Republicans and say they probably committed war crimes too, because every Republican since before you were born has committed war crimes in the Middle East. But nothing to the scale of Donald J. Trump.
What did he do that was so egregious?
Bombing a school full of elementary school kids, girls no less, killing close to what, 200 for starters? Off rip? Like, I mean, what did he do so egregious? Are you serious?
No, did he order that to happen, Leo? Is that what the report said? He ordered that to happen?
No, he denied it. He tried to deny
He
it.
didn't
I
order
mean,
it to happen, and that's the point.
one more time.
He didn't order it to take place. He didn't say go out there and bomb a school.
You don't know what he
So
ordered. He's talking about right now going to do more war crimes. He's floating it right now. Just yesterday, he was like all week long. He's been like, "Yo, we could do so much more. Yo, we could decimate them and destroy them for they would never recover. They would never recover. He has a tick. And so he does. He did a lot of training so that he would be prepared for when he does his speeches and he memorizes things. And he used to be very good at it. But now with his mental decline, he has ticks. So a word comes up and he spews something out. There's a few examples of it. Like if you say border, oh, we have the most secure borders ever. People came into this country by the millions from prison. He has ticks. He hears a certain word, he goes off on a tangent and has to come back to the subject.
well, if you
Or in
mean
my
about
unprofessional
the
opinion, I'm not a psychiatrist, but what it looks like to me, and having observed an old person or two in my life, he has mental tics. He has a
well,
tick.
mental text,
He's like,
the fact remains that we have an increase in Islamic domestic terrorism as a result of all the sleeper cells being activated from the people that poured in through the border of the previous administration. So that is an issue that needs to be addressed.
or is it that we have an uptick in sleeper cells because we're bombing countries that
How are the
don't have
sleeper
any other
cells
way to defend
here?
themselves?
It's more important for America to address the sleeper cells here as opposed to being focused of over there because we have to
Hold on,
fight
wait.
them
So let
over
me ask you a question.
here
Let me
because we
ask you a
can't fight them
question.
over there.
Let me ask you a question because you brought up the sleeper cells here. So let's dive into that a little bit, right? So why is it right after Donald J. Trump attacked a foreign nation,
Mhm.
his head of the FBI, Cash Patel, took away the part of the FBI that deals with things like finding sleeper cells, with defending the homeland from terrorism? Why is it that they took the thing that was supposed to defend us from that away? What did you think was going to happen when you attacked another country and they took away the thing that was supposed to protect us? Do you think that was possibly done on purpose, or do you think that that was random, that they just happened to take away that even though they were attacking another country and did not know that the results would be the terrorism that's happening, the cyber terrorism, which you're probably not even aware of the scale? Did you
Well,
know what is the name of the company? Do I have it here? Do I have the company? Listen, we're just starting to get people in now. So, all right. Hello, and welcome to the Think Tank. Here we use critical thinking, deductive reasoning, and just a pinch of common sense to draw unbiased and logical conclusions. To debate what's currently happening in the world with me today is the Honorable Dion Powell. Dion, would you like to introduce yourself and then we can officially get started?
happy St. Patrick's Day weekend, family. I had corned beef and cabbage today. I'm District Leader Dion Powell of the Bronx Conservative Party. I'm a consultant, strategist, community leader, and organizer here in New York.
Pleasure to have you on. Thank you for coming. Okay, that's the Epstein stuff. We're going to get into ICE. Okay. So I'm going to just read what we have here so we can talk about it all. 3 FBI interviews with S allegations against Trump were released the week prior to the war beginning. The week after the war began, excuse me. So 3 very, very, very concerning SAs accusations were released a week after the war began. It's almost as if it was being covered up. One of the girls accusing Trump of SA said she physically was abused afterwards. Now, this is not a new story. I don't know why it's new to the public. We talked about this last year when the files were released. This girl said, in case for anybody who doesn't know what occurred, this young lady said that Donald Trump was left alone with her. He pulled down his pants, pulled out his thingy, and said something to her along the lines, I'm gonna teach you how little girls are supposed to act. She was 14 or 15 at the time. She bit him and he punched her in the face, as far as the allegations go. I talked about it before. I don't know why this is new. Um, then the war began, accusing Trump of assaulting her. Okay. They're talking about a possible draft now. Even though Trump himself dodged the draft, now they're talking about maybe drafting people into this war. We're supposed to have more people during the military, join the military during Trump's term. He was like, oh, we have numbers like no one's ever seen. If that's the case, the question would be, why do we need a draft? The Straits of Hamas are closed. Hormuz, I'm sorry, are closed, and Russia and China are supporting Iran. Trump took off sanctions from Russia. Iran hasn't fired its Mach 3 and Mach 4 missiles as of yet. They're their most powerful missiles. So while Donald Trump is ranting and raving on how we killed their leaders and destroyed their missiles, they haven't even used their powerful missiles yet. They haven't even released their most powerful attacks. So this war is not even near its peak. Iran is holding back. We've had 15 service members injured and over 150 seriously wounded. The new Ayatollah lost his parents and his son. He wants revenge. The FBI is saying that California might get hit with missiles. The war is costing us $11 billion a week. $11 billion. We can't afford this war. The White House claims the Kurds will be boots on the ground, and Kurds say they're going to handle the war. The Kurds are like, nah, bruh, we're not fighting this war for the U.S. They're mad at us. Trump is saying that even though Spain is like, you cannot use our military bases, Trump is like, man, we just going to fly in and take control of their bases. What are y'all talking about? Y'all sound crazy. So now he's talking about going and invading Spanish bases. And while doing so, he feels he can make Iran great again. And while all of this is going on, all over the news, we see that a Tomahawk missile hit an elementary school, a girls' elementary school, and 168 girls were found unalive. And while that was happening, Trump is like, oh, that was Iran. They bombed their home school. And I laugh, even though this is the most serious of issues and not at all amusing. And although he claimed that Iran bombed their own school with a Tomahawk, he also puts out there that we're one of the only countries in the world with Tomahawks. Nobody has American firepower like us. Nobody has this, except for, Tomahawks is being what he was talking about, the missile he was talking about. And just in case you don't understand why gas prices are skyrocketing, 1/5, 20% of all of the world's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. And while Trump is talking about we can get ships through there, and while he's saying that he'll escort ships, then back walks it when he's questioned about the validity of making such a confusing, compelling, and unrealistic statement. The rest of the world's reporting that they're not going through there and the U.S. is not helping them. There's no way. Even though we decimated their military, they've closed down the Strait of Hormuz. Nothing goes through there without being shot, unless it's going to China. Because China's helping them. Russia's giving them intel on where American ships are. Nothing can flow through one of the world's premier way to get oil. So gas prices is going up. Your heating is going to go up. Your electricity is going to go up because of this war. And of course, Israel bombed Lebanon, and they're targeting children. So the U.S. is targeting children. The U.S. is threatening to target critical infrastructure for water and utilities such as gas, electric, and coal. Trump is committing obsessive, unbelievable war crimes. And already we've bombed a school of children. And we already know how Israel get down. And if you don't know, perhaps you missed the Gaza Strip, where after they've bombed all of these kids, talking about, oh, well, they got tunnels underneath the schools. After that, they would not allow food to get through to the hungry children. So I guess Trump's in good company if he wants to be a war criminal. I mean, after all, although Russia's giving Iran our position utilizing their technology, Trump's response to that was, you know what? Let's allow them to just trade with whoever they want. Let's lift the sanctions. The only thing that's stopping them from attacking other countries. Let's lift the sanctions. So with all of that being said, let's dig into this, Dion. Where do you want to begin?
Okay. Well, you've said a lot, as always, Leo. I'm going to start off with you talking about the draft. Is that okay?
Fire away.
All right. So what happened was there has been an update in what we call the selective service. And as you can see here from AI, beginning December 18, 2026, the selective service will transition to automatic registration for men ages 18 to 25. We've all had to do this. You're a Navy veteran yourself. But my issue with this, excuse me, is
Hold on,
that
would you mind sharing the rest of that? You just blinked off of that. That
right,
was
you were talking about the draft,
breaking
but I'm
news to me.
trying,
I didn't know that. Please, I'm not aware of this critical information.
yes, because you just said that there's a draft, and that's
No,
always
I
going to
said they
be.
were talking about enacting the draft. What you're saying is they already did. That is
No,
very
I did
different.
not say that they automatically did
No,
a
you
draft.
didn't say that. This is saying that's why I want to read the rest of it.
This
So allow
isn't
me to
saying that
read
at
it to
all.
the audience, if you don't mind. Beginning December 18th, this is something that Dion found that I was unaware of. Beginning
Critical
December
thinking.
18th, 2026, that was last December, in the middle of last December before Christmas.
No, it's not. That's
Oh no, that's
upcoming.
beginning this year. I apologize. Before Christmas this year, the selective service system will transition to automatic registration for men aged 18 to 25. I would like to know what the selective service system is, but before we find that out, utilizing existing government data rather than requiring individual signups. The update part of the fiscal year 2026 National Defense Authorization Act eliminates the need for personal registration, although no draft currently exists. So,
Thank
what's
you.
the selective service system?
The selective services, if you recall, Leo, when you turn 18, us as people that were assigned male at birth, we all had to register for the selective service, just in case in the future we need to be involved in the military. Now, one thing I want to point out is ladies who are birthers and who are assigned female at birth, how come you're not fighting for diversity, equity, inclusion to make this equal to both people who are assigned male and female at birth? As you can see
Okay, you can
here,
stop
it
sharing your screen. You can
discriminates,
stop sharing your screen.
as you can clearly see that this is only assigned to men. Why? Where's the progress so that we can have women as well? That's always been my question. But just like registering to vote, I believe people should be automatically registered to vote at 18, and that cuts out a lot of bureaucracy. So this is just cutting out a lot of bureaucracy, even though people are paranoid about a draft. But as you can see, it doesn't start until when? December of this year.
Well, that's because they know that this war is going to drag on. We have been drug into another forever war, just like every Republican president
You
that's
said
ever.
that about Venezuela. You said that about the first time we
No,
bombed
that's a lie.
Iran.
You're lying on me. Do not lie on me on my
That's
show.
exactly what you did.
No, I did not say that's it. No, you. There's a pill you could take to help improve your memory. It's what's it called? Glycoba. You might want to start looking into that. Like all jokes aside, like seriously, like getting Cobra. You might want to look into that because anyway, no, there was no way for anybody to have said that. In case you don't, because your memory's a little bit off, I'm going to remind you of what occurred so you can understand that that is impossible.
Oh, really?
So we were surprised by the attack and didn't know what was going to happen, and then it was over. So when in the we're surprised by the attack, and then it's over. And we didn't even have a show in between that time. So it's impossible for me to have said that.
When we attacked Iran a few months ago, it was like, oh no, here comes World War III. Didn't happen. Then Venezuela snatched out Maduro, threw him in Brooklyn. Oh
No,
no,
you
here
heard a
comes
lot of the
World
other
War
pundits say
III.
that. You said you heard a lot of the other pundits say that. And I told you then I didn't hear that. But you're in your bubble. And so you've heard it so much, you're giving it to everybody because that's what's happening in the bubble. In the bubble, you didn't hear the war was going to start. In the bubble, you heard everybody saying the war is going to start. So in your head, it was everybody said it, so I must have said it. And that's what happened in reality, in the shared reality versus the reality inside of the bubble.
So just to be clear, right now it's going Iran. You foresee that this is going to be a long, drawn out war. So I just want to make sure that's on the public record.
Yes, absolutely. Without question.
Okay.
That's looking at my crystal ball, and what I see is a long drawn out war.
So over 1,400 people are watching this. Make sure you take a mental note of this episode and save it in your files for future reference. Okay, family? Thank you.
I wish it were not so. I wish I could say that Donald Trump was going to back out of this war. But Iran cannot back out of this war. So if Trump is not going, and first they're like, yo, listen, here's what's going to happen. Now, Trump is like, we got them beat. We destroyed their military. We took out their leaders. They don't got no naval ships left. They ain't got no airplanes. We bombed their missile sites. They can't launch missiles anymore. But if you listen to international news and not the propaganda that Donald Trump is trying to spread throughout the states and hear what's really going on, they have not launched their Mach 3 and Mach 4's most powerful weapons as of yet. Iran is not even letting their most powerful weapons go. If they had no navy and no missiles, then the Strait of Hormuz would be open because they couldn't attack the ships going through there. So both things can't be true. They can't not have a military and stop ships from going through the strait. So if you even take a peek outside of the bubble into reality, it's a lie. It's an obvious ploy. And if they're not even releasing their most powerful weapons yet, and Donald Trump is saying they're trying to call them and talk about they want to surrender, but you watch international news, and what they're really saying is that the only way this war comes to an end is if the US gets all their bases out of the Middle East. The Ayatollah said that Friday. That's what's really happening. So Donald Trump has us in the war telling us it's going to be quick when the other side is like, nah, we ain't stopping. And they're continuing to bomb our bases. More service members are getting hurt. They're continuing to bomb our infrastructure of anything American over there. They're bombing places that they're trapping Americans. They're doing things that are hurting America. And they're doing it in, unfortunately for me and you, a wise way. They can't attack us all the way over here, so they're hitting our pockets. Gas is going up over $1 in a week. I feel that. You may not feel it. It hurts me badly. Real badly. My cost of travel is going up 30%. So my limousine business is taking a big hit. It hurts me. I'm feeling the pain. As I do with a lot of the implementation of Trump's executive orders and actions. I'm one of the pundits that have to worry because I criticize ICE. Is he coming for me next? I'm too small as of yet, but he's going to go after the big guys, then the little ones, we're going to get caught up in it as well. But let's divulge back to about the war. So they're setting up to be able to draft heir apparent, even though you obviously don't see that. Am I correct?
Again, this is something that's out there. And well, welcome, Chrissy. Thanks for welcome back. Hopefully you're back and safe. 1.4K. women should be able to automatically be registered as well. Why is this only people that are assigned at male at birth? That's my whole point. Now, we're having a draft. Those alarm bells always happen during this situation, but so far the volunteer service is where it's at.
Okay. Well, they haven't implemented a draft yet, but Donald Trump is refusing to say he won't. His
Well,
secretary,
like all presidents, you always have to leave all your options open. That's the cliche. Always, I gotta leave all my options open.
no, that is what Caroline Levitt is saying to try and cover up the fact that they're not doing it. And while they're leaving these options open, are what I would say negative options. He's not saying he's not going to do it because he's planning it. Oh, we're just leaving our options open. Yeah, what it looks like to me is y'all are setting us up. And to respond to Chrissy, I do believe it won't just be the youth. I believe the youth are the ones that will be drafted. It'll be 18 to like 25. And the fact that it's not women. Listen, I have daughters. I'm happy about it. You want women to be drafted? You seem to always want things that'll hurt.
Well, that's fair and equal, Leo. That's true DEI
Make
right
seven
there.
up yours.
Women,
I have
women are
daughters.
being
You can kiss my
discriminated
ass.
against. Women are being discriminated against, Leo. It's men only. That's not fair.
Mm. You know, here's what's not fair. What's not fair is you put a lot of time and energy into the MAGA party, and they don't seem to give you the respect you have because you're not an attorney yet. Somebody from the outside looking in, like myself, might say, "I wonder what would happen if you weren't black, and if you was on the side that supported black people with DEI and affirmative action, would you have other opportunities with that master's degree you hold?" I don't think that's fair. But unlike my daughter being female, these are choices you made. What else would you like to talk about next? Would you like to talk about the fact that Donald Trump bombed schools?
I'm just replying to Chrissy right now in the chat. Uh, this December. Okay, yeah. So if you have any comments, guys, feel free to have our chat there and update your grade. So the next thing that I would like to talk about on our nice long list here is Jasmine Crockett, because that should get the algorithm going, and how she lost her primary thanks to the Democrats. Donald Trump's not there to be blamed for this one, right, Leo?
This has to do with the fact that they're trying to steal elections.
Who are they?
That would be the Republicans.
From a Democratic primary? That makes no sense.
Your civic education is way higher than that. Stop talking to the audience like they're stupid.
How? We're talking about Jasmine Crockett losing her Democratic primary. Unless you're saying the Republicans rigged the Democratic primary in Texas for her to lose, but that can't be right.
Oh, that can't be right. The Republicans in charge of this state didn't go after one of the most powerful Democrats in the country that they can't stand. Oh no, that could never
They put
be.
money into her campaign. They bigged her up. The Republicans encouraged her to run. I don't think it was them that made her lose, by the way. They needed her to win, but that didn't happen.
That is absolutely bullshit. What
How?
are you
That's
talking
exactly
about?
what happened.
What
They made
actually,
campaign contributions. They put out ads and polls to irk Jasmine Crockett to run. That's a fact. Now, what's McCall Tallarico? He's the one that's the snake that went on what was it what's that late night show with the guy with the glasses? Anyway, long story short, the Democratic Party and the media try to big up Tallarico and give him free airtime on these shows and podcasts, and Jasmine Crockett couldn't. So it's basically the Democratic primary showing that they don't really support black women when push comes to shove.
I do believe what actually happened that caused her to lose. Not that, as a Republican, like facts probably, as a MAGA person, I know facts are irrelevant. But I do believe what actually occurred was she, they were, when people turned out to the polls, they were told to go someplace else to vote. And then they got there and The voting was being messed with. Like I said would happen when they started messing with elections and, interfering with the voting, and doing it in only Democratic places. I believe it's Donald Trump that said, um,
You gonna blame Donald Trump for this one? I don't
I believe it
know.
was Donald Trump that said, like over a million times at this point, that the Republicans need to take over the voting polls in Democratic states, in Democratic areas. Am I wrong about this?
Yes, because you have to refer to the SAVE Act. And the
No, that's not what I'm
Democrats,
talking about.
I know, but
Okay.
I'm telling you what Donald Trump is talking about. He's talking
Well,
about the SAVE
That's
Act.
not the only thing that Donald Trump is talking about. Donald Trump is trying to steal this election any way possible.
No, he's
One
not.
thing he wants to do is he named at least 13 different places, he says, that he wants the federal government to take over the voting polls because they can't be trusted. They're cheating. Do you not know? You're going to tell me you don't know about that? Go ahead and lie.
I know about Fulton County because Fulton County has already proven itself not to be trusted based on what they did in 2020. Fannie Lewis, who's down there, remember district family district attorney Fannie Lewis, and some other counties in America where there's a lot of voting improprieties. So the SAVE Act is very important across the board federally, making sure there is what? A national voter identification system when registering and actually voting on federal elections and beyond. Now, if that trickles down to the states and their regulations, is one thing, but we don't know. All right, the chat is getting very active. Let's see what's going on over here in the chat.
Okay,
So a
let's
bunch of
jump on
people.
in.
Let's go.
All right, thank you, everybody. Let's see. This year has been chaos so far. Absolutely. Thank you, Ratik. The whole situation feels like it's getting more intense every day. White, it dang sure does. It's scary. Hello, shooter. People arguing about politics while prices keep rising. That's what I'm saying. And this war is not helping. The economy is bad. It's the Donald Trump economy. The economy can't handle another war right now. I don't know how to pronounce Zalani. Agreed. I just want some stability for once. Coulthard, agreed. Like, we're not getting that. Gas prices already going up again. Everybody's talking about prices. The Iran conflict escalating is honestly scary. Watching this unfold seems unreal. Hakeem, DJ, indeed. Sky, okay. Tutu, I'm worried about where this is heading. It looks like World War III, but we'll get to that.
Here
The
we
global
go.
tension, Drax Lexer. The global tension right now is crazy. So somebody paying attention to international news, unlike my co-host, seems to know what's going on. Dushy, oil prices always spike during conflicts like this. Yes, every time a Republican is in office, oil prices are going to spike. Thank you, Dushy. Ronald, Dion's whole argument revolves around selective omission, just lying and playing dumb about it. I can't argue that.
Well, I can because I just proved the facts to you. Selective service, not draft. I just proved to you Fulton County when it comes to voting improprieties and the SAVE Act when you want to tell about John Trump trying to do anything, but the Democrats don't want the SAVE Act to go through.
Well, just for you, so just I want to put this out there for those of y'all who are new to the channel. We have these debates across the aisle so that you can hear both sides and draw your own conclusion. It's important to hear what the other people are thinking. Now, you don't have to agree with it, but at least you can have an educated, critically analyzed, your own decision based on hearing real talking points from both sides versus being in a bubble and only getting one side. I think that this channel provides a big service for that and is very important. This is why we're here. All right, back to the comment section. The news cycle is nonstop. Definitely, Dixon. Political drama never ends. I wish politicians would focus more on everyday people. I, I don't. The world feels unstable right now. Wow, this war thing. Yes, I thought that would be more important than other topics, and that's going to be my focus for tonight. And the
Okay, what's
economy,
on
of
the list?
course.
Let's see what else we have on the list to get to today.
Everyone's arguing, but no one's solving anything. The only way to solve this is to leave the Middle East and stop attacking Iran. Stop attacking sovereign nations. But the 20% of MAGA fans that are left, about the same as the oil supply that goes through Venezuela, the Strait of Hormuz, about the same as what's left of the MAGA base after people started realizing Trump is who he is. For them to tell him, all right, we'll support you, but we're hurting. He's telling people that he went. This is the same guy who said, "Are you ready? Let's see if you remember, guys. I'm bringing prices down on day one. I'm bringing energy prices down." I see you shaking your head, Dion. Go ahead. I'm dying to hear how you respond to that.
That's often a cliche in most presidential, if not all debates. If elected, what you do? Well, I'm going to do this on day one. I'm going to do that on day one. So Trump got caught out there, run off at the mouth again, and here we are. But so far, the economy, based on this war, is not doing very good. However, I saw a recent poll yesterday that still says that Trump is actually polling better than the Democrats, and his handling of the economy is still pulling better than the Democrats. So unless the Democrats step it up, I don't know.
And this is why you have to be able to listen to both sides of the argument. Did you hear what's going on inside the bubble? And when I say inside the bubble,
What bubble? That's the facts.
Those are the facts as presented in certain circles, and those circles all reside in a bubble. Outside the bubble, where the rest of the world is, where we're all the reason the people are responding in the chat the way that they're responding is because we're all seeing what we're seeing, and the reason that you're such an intriguing figure is at this point we're like, how could you not see this? Like, how could you be like, oh well, yeah, Trump lied about everything, but what? But he lied about everything. Everything. The U.S.
Okay,
was
well,
not the U.S. One of his ticks. He goes on these deranged. He has a tick, and he says something. He hears a word, and he has to spew a bunch of things connected to that word because he has a tick, in my unprofessional opinion. And one of the words is Biden and the U.S. Right. So then he's like, "Oh, the U.S. was a dead country. No one respected us." How was the country with the number one military in the world? How is the company with the greatest economy in the world? How is the company that recovered from COVID better than any other country in the world a laughing stock on the planet? Nobody was laughing at America. That is the fact that Republicans believe that is insane. We had the number one economy and the number one military in the world. Nobody was laughing at America. That's a lie. It's stupid. It's stupid to believe that. I'm saying it. It's stupid. There's no way that anybody would believe that the number one economy and the number one military in the world was a laughing stock. That's stupid. I said it. It's stupid. It's stupid. Now, the fact that he's able to convince people of these things means he's a very charming con artist. And con artists convince people to believe stupid things. But fortunately for us, I would say 70 to 80% of the people he's conned are looking around and seeing the economy is bad. The fact that we're at the brink of World War III, arguably already involved in World War III. Mm-hmm. The fact that he's got a private military force that's as large as the fifth largest military in the world. We call them ICE, shooting Americans dead in the street. I think that when you start looking at and combining these things, and then you look and he said he was going to release the Epstein files, another one of his lies. He lies about everything. Donald Trump lies about everything. He's not right about everything. He lies about everything. I think that when you start looking at the fact that they said that he punched a 14-year-old girl in the face because she bit him when he tried to get her to perform fellatio, that's what was said in the files. I talked about this last year. I do not know why you made the same face last year when I started talking about it. I don't know why people are just starting to talk about it now like it wasn't there all along. But it was there all along.
Well, they didn't talk about it when Joe Biden had it in his administration. So that's a fair question, Leo. Why are we talking about this now? We could have talked about this 2 or 3 years ago when the files were there in the Biden administration. Good question, Leo.
Well, Biden's not in the files. So you can ask those questions, but the one covering it up right now is so like your excuse before. Every time I told you it was in the files is, oh well, it doesn't accuse him of everything. And I go through the files, I open them up from the government website and read the terrible things that this man has done. The SA, the SA of minors, punching one in the face, and this is just what he does. And you're okay with it. What could this man do to actually make you turn away from him? That's the question.
Well, like I said, mostly every other show now, that I'm an 80-20 Trumpster. I support the president 80%, 20% not so much. So it's a good thing. We can't support, well, we shouldn't support him 100% of the time.
Okay.
Now, do I regret my vote? The answer is no. Again, you ask a lot of MAGA people, do they regret their vote for Trump as
And a
opposed
lot
to
of them are
the other
saying
option?
yes. And a lot of
They'll
them are
say
saying
no.
yes. A lot of them are saying yes. They're burning their hats. What are you talking about?
Well, if I could just share my screen, my friend,
Before
like
you
I
share your
usually.
screen, why don't you answer the question?
What's the question?
What would make you turn away from Trump? Not 20% of the time. What would make you say, you know what? I'm wrong about Trump. What would
Well, he's
have to
going too
happen?
far. He's going too far.
No, not he's gone too far. I'm turning away from Trump. What megalithic event he's already been credibly accused of being a SA molester of children? Credibly accused.
Okay.
He's already got us into the brink of World War III. Some people are calling it World War III. He's already got an ICE. He's protecting ICE agents, shooting people dead in the street for protesting. What would it take? The economy is gas prices is the worst they've been since the last time he's been in office. What would it take for you to say, you know what, you're right, he's a bad person? What else is there left for him to mess up? What is left? I don't understand.
Well, let's just say, how about this, Leo? If he should reinstate the draft, maybe then I'll say, you know what? Trump is not such a good idea. How's that sound? I'll put that on the
Ladies
table.
and gentlemen,
That was a concrete answer for you to hold me accountable.
that is actually pretty amazing. I am happy
Hey,
to
aren't
hear
you
that.
great?
Do
So
you
that's
think
something
that
for.
do you think that most of the MAGA supporters that are left would follow you on that hill to be shot down?
Well, yeah, it will be because remember, there's a lot of MAGA supporters who don't support Israel first. So those people were the ones that are burning their hats. There's a lot of people that don't support these wars. So they're the ones that's kind of fracturing MAGA. So the wars are like one of the number of issues. Then on top of that, the Epstein files are number two. Another, the second issue in which a lot of MAGA are jumping ship. So you have to take a look at those two issues, Israel and Epstein. And some people argue that they're actually connected to each other.
Well, that wouldn't be some people. That would be most people in the know.
Oh, okay, killer. Okay.
Yes, lovely. Economic pressure is real for a lot of families. I am an American. Uma, Umakanta, I don't know how to pronounce that. Umakantama, Umakant, Umakant Manda. Got you. Yeah, trying to keep up with everything. We haven't even touched on all the subjects. I really want to focus on this war, but we got to talk about other things as well because there are other things happening. It's hard to keep up with everything.
Well, can I share
And
my
Ven-
screen to give you a little factoid that you should know about Trump?
and Venkat, everyone's arguing with no one is solving anything. I think I touched on that. The truth of the matter is, I agree with you. Nobody is doing anything. So before he shares his screen, if you like the content, please like, share, subscribe. We're working very hard to bring you the news. If you want to help, a cup of coffee goes a long way. You see me sitting there drinking my tea. If you can help with a cup of coffee, that'd be great. Become a subscriber and join our private chat. You get content first. But back to Dion. Dion, what were you saying?
Well, I'll try to share my screen, my friend. That way you can see, and the world can see, according to the Hill, Trump, regardless of what's going on in the world, is still more popular than Harris and Newsom. So basically, that means, it says to me that in 2028, you guys don't have much options to replace this whole MAGA Trump movement.
Okay. I would like to you bring something like that up. That was the headline. Scroll down a little bit. Let's see who took this survey. Let's see what they say about this survey.
The
Because I'm
poll,
100% sure there's a reality check in there.
the polls, what did
Watch.
the polls say? Okay, my
I
friend.
want to see who took the polls and the
Here
reality
we
check.
go. There you go. You want to read it aloud, Leo, or should I?
In new NBC News survey results released Monday, 41% of respondents expressed favorable views of the president. Only 34% of those polls responded favorably to Harris, compared with 20% for Newsom. I don't like Newsom either. Harris, much better. The two politicians are frequently touted as potential Democratic candidates for the 28th presidential race, but neither has committed to a run. Okay, that's
Well, the
a
thing is, we believe on this side that this number
all right.
right
You don't have
here.
to share the screen. You don't have to share the screen anymore. You can.
Okay, well, it says 41% are favorable to the president, but that's from NBC News, where we on the right believe those polls are skewed because they don't survey many, if at all, Republicans. So we believe we'd like to add at least 5 to 7, maybe 8 points on top of it. So let's just say 46 to 48%, as opposed to 41% support the president because they don't include conservative voters in those polls. So it's always like maybe 5 to 10 points higher in reality. Understand?
I comprehend, but your belief that they don't that the Hill did all of that and didn't take in conservative people into the poll
No, no,
sounds
they
out
refer to the NBC News poll. They're reporting what the poll says and they're breaking it down.
right, right.
So I'm
So
talking about the NBC poll itself is
which so why do you think in that poll they didn't talk to Republicans?
because that's what the mainstream media is nefarious with. CNN, MS Now, former MSDNC, and also other major media outlets like NBC. So basically, we're arguing that they don't survey Republican conservatives. So you have to add at least 5 to 8 points to every poll that's in our favor. So when they talk about Trump is at 41%, we believe it's probably at 48% or higher.
I know what you believe inside the bubble,
Oh,
but let
here
me
we
tell you what
go.
we're. Oh, absolutely. Let me step outside the bubble and tell you the reality that everybody else is seeing.
What's that? They trust
These
NBC?
these mainstream media outlets have bent the knee to Trump. So they absolutely have. That's they all. I'll
Let's
get
go to
into
Abby
that.
Phillip. Abby Phillip is another one that
They
got
have
caught
bent the
out there
knee to
lying.
Trump, and because they have bent the knee, they have they are now giving Trump what he wants. They've bent the knee. Law firms have bent the knee. Schools have bent the knee, and they're capitulating to what Trump wants. Trump's like, I got the best polls ever. God forbid somebody goes against that, there will be repercussions.
No,
And
that's only
because
when
of
they
said
lie. Like Abby Phillips just got caught in a lie. So nice try.
nice try, these are actual facts. What happened when somebody said something outside of what Donald Trump wants them to say? What are you saying? There's no repercussions that Trump doesn't go after them? Is that what you're trying to tell people? Like they don't know better?
Well, he only goes after them on his platforms. When it comes to
That's a
legal court
lie.
cases and the Federal
Didn't he sue
Communications
all them
Bureau,
law firms that represented people he didn't like? Like, doesn't he sue? Did he go after the schools?
that's when the BBC lied. That's when NBC lied. That's when CBS lied. That's when George Stephanopoulos lied. That's when he has a right to come for you. So I
Wait,
agree.
no. So what was the lie? What was the lie that he
George
was accused?
Stephanopoulos
Hold
said
on,
that
wait.
he
Let me.
was
You
a
didn't let me finish my
rapist, and
question.
that's a lie.
Well, okay. So he wasn't proven to be. He was accused of it, and he did. And instead of graping somebody, he SA'd them. So, oh my God, it wasn't grape. It was just SA. I'm suing you.
You
Shut up.
can't lie, my friend. And with person of Trump, according to the legal stuff that I was educated by a lawyer at the time, if Trump can prove that whatever you said or done may have cost him a loss in money, then those are damages that he has incurred. For example, let's say Trump is running for office, or Trump is trying to raise money, or Trump's trying to cut a deal. He can say, this time last year, I made this amount of revenue, but because of said media lie outlets of my character, my revenue stream has dropped. And this is the amount of damages I have incurred during this time period. Does that make sense, Leo?
That does make sense, but that is not what happened in the majority of
That's what
lawsuits.
happened because they lied about January 6th's footage. They
No,
lied about,
no, they edited the foot. Listen, they edited the footage. Have you ever done a documentary? You went to film school. I've
yes,
done documentaries. They edited the footage. Like,
to
they,
tell a story that was not true. That's a lie. That's propaganda.
well, according to all of the stuff coming out, it seems that it was very true. Jack Smith has proven it to be true that he was not only very, very important in implementing January 6th, but that he was behind it.
That has nothing to do with the BBC just editing the footage to try to corroborate that kind of narrative when it wasn't true. The man did not
And
tell them to
obviously it's
storm the
true.
Capitol. He
He
didn't
did.
do it.
He did. He did. Jack Smith.
No, he didn't. And on top of that, Leo, if it was true, once Donald Trump won the election in 2024, Jack Smith went away. So if it was true, why did he, follow through?
Okay, so we'll do this differently.
Please do.
All right. So inside the bubble, your support for Trump is at an all-time high. Everything that Trump did, he was right with. I get
No.
it. But right now, he has us in a war. Let's take everything else off the table because it's all miscellaneous stuff that you'll use to obfuscate to try and paint Trump in a better light. The man has us in a war we don't belong in, and is attacking innocent countries and murdering innocent people, including children, and lying about it, covering it up, threatening to do more war crimes. That's who you're supporting. And you're like, oh, well, I'll take it away if he has the draft on top of it. The
Well,
man is talking about destroying critical infrastructure. That is a war crime. You're only allowed to attack military. The things he's talking about doing are war crimes. The same thing that Benjamin Netanyahu has done. That he's now wanted as a criminal for doing. The same things that, even though you're like, oh, he's not cool with Vladimir Putin, even though he lifted the sanctions, the same things that Vladimir Putin has done that makes him a wanted criminal for war crimes. Donald Trump is now doing and threatening to do more of that you're supporting. You want him to be the felon and criminal that he is and have the United States implicit, complicit, and offend and committing war crimes. And you cheer it on. MAG is kind of disgusting to some people, or what's left of them, because there's not very
again,
many of
Leo,
y'all.
like I said, the wars, I disagree, and the handling of the Epstein files, I disagree. But
And
either,
the economy.
no, the economy, it could be better, yes. But again, when it comes
So
to
you
things,
agree with the economy or disagree with it?
what's the agree or disagree with? It's not going very
You
good right
agree
now.
with, so then you disagree with the way he's handling it.
Right now, because we're in a war, yes. But the tariff war
It's not,
itself is
it's a
something
yes or
separate.
no question. There's a but? No, do you agree or not? The tariffs obviously didn't work. The course is like, nah, you're trying to do illegal things. The tariffs didn't work. We're in a war. The economy is what it is. Do you agree or disagree with his handling of the economy?
Could be better.
So you disagree with his handling of the economy, you disagree with the war, you disagree with geesh. What do you agree
Epstein
with that he's
files,
doing?
huh?
What do you agree with that he's doing?
I'm glad you asked. Getting rid of the illegals, handling immigration, because right now sleeper cells have been proven that we have extremists in this country thanks to open border. I agree that a boy is a boy and a girl's a girl, and get rid of this gender primary care for little children. So I agree with that. I agree with his school choice policies, in which parents should be able to use their tax dollars to homeschool their children, send them to private schools, public schools, or charter schools. I agree with the dismantling of the United States Department of Education as one big money-making scheme for the Democrats. I agree, as well as auditing, indulging a lot of government agencies, as well as the nonprofit sector, because there's a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse across the board, especially in the benefit of the Democratic Party. I agree with the redistricting that's before the Supreme Court right now, and hopefully they'll overturn so that way the Republicans can actually change the lines across the country with redistricting. I agree with the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act, I agree with because I believe there's nothing wrong with having to show identification when voting in elections. And to
But
stop some of
hold on,
that,
wait. Why are you
I just
obfuscating?
outlined what I agree with, my friend. Shout out
Okay,
to
so
2,000 people watching.
all right, so you agree with him interfering with elections. You agree with
Election reform, yes.
no,
Election integrity, that's what it's called.
there's no integrity with the SAVE Act. Again, let's pull it up for because you like to lie.
Black
And
Americans love the SAVE Act too, by the way. I think it's like 70% or more of Black America agrees with the SAVE Act.
well, that's until they understand what it
Oh, wow.
actually
Black people, you don't
says.
understand it. That's why.
No, because people like you lie, which is why I'm going to share the screen.
It's the lie. That's what the polls say.
Right. You lied to the American people. Here is Congress.gov. Can we agree that this is the official government, that this is the truth? Can we agree on that?
Okay.
The
This is the
bill
hard black and
prohibits
white facts.
the bill prohibits states, which by itself right here, this part right here, this right here makes the entire thing illegal because the federal government has no say so in elections. Only the states do by the Constitution. So
Well,
right
that's
away,
why it says federal
right
elections keep
away,
going.
the first thing he wants to do is interfere, is ignore the Constitution. The bill prohibits states. First thing he wants to do is ignore the Constitution, which means break the laws of the land, be the felon that he is, from accepting and processing any application to register to vote in federal elections unless the applicant presents documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. Not U.S., not ID, proof of U.S. citizenship. Now, we're not talking about showing your driver's license. That's a common sense thing that you lie to the people about, that Trump lies to the people about and say, if you have your ID card, you can vote. But this says proof of citizenship. Your ID card is not proof of citizenship. You need, for proof of citizenship, if you're an American born citizen, you need your birth certificate or you need a passport. Those are the only two proofs of citizenship that prove you're a citizen. A driver's license doesn't prove you're a citizen. You could be an immigrant on a visa and get a driver's license, so that doesn't count. They're saying you have to have your birth certificate or a passport. Most people don't have passports. And your birth certificate, they can argue with. They can literally, when Obama was president, Donald Trump was like, that he ain't no American citizen. He was born in whatever country he said he was born from. Obama provided his Hawaiian birth certificate. What did Donald Trump do then? That's not real. So even if you provide that proof of citizenship, Donald Trump is known for saying, nah, that ain't real. So this proof of citizenship is an extra burden where he's breaking the Constitution to implement, because he's breaking the Constitution. He's going against the law. He's breaking the law, saying, let's say you live in New York, right? And New York is like, oh, well, if you have your driver's license, you can vote. He's saying, nah, I'm coming in and saying as the feds, I don't care what the state says, which is illegal. New York is saying it's all you need is your driver's license. We control voting. That's what the Constitution says. Donald Trump's trying to break the Constitution. And then once we get there, it's gonna be he wants ICE agents surrounding the polls. He wants the SAVE Act in place. So now you got your birth certificate, right? You're a married woman. You've been married for 10 years. You changed your last name. Your birth certificate doesn't match your ID. So now you've got your proof of citizenship, but you also need your ID because there's no picture on your birth certificate. So now you got your birth certificate and your proof, your ID, and your ID and your birth certificate don't match, guess what? You can't prove that's you. You can't vote. The SAVE Act is meant to interfere with voting. They also, as you well know, as you've pointed out, have the Voting Rights Act Section 2 in court right now. Now, what is that? Do you know what that is, Dion, or do I have to explain it? Because you like the
Well, I just told you that that's why I support the Supreme Court actually overturning that section of the Voting Rights Act when it comes to, and the Civil Rights Act, when it pertains to redistricting and also election integrity. I'm okay.
So I love having a black man that sound like this on here. It just sounds so crazy to me. Let's
Well,
go over
that's
what
why it's think
this.
tank.
Let's go over what this says. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 prohibits voting practices or procedures that discriminate on the basis of race, color, or membership in one of the language minority groups identified in Section 4F2.
That's got nothing to do with the SAVE Act, Leo, because the SAVE Act is having
Hold
the
up.
same thing about
No,
it.
it's not. Like I said, he's attacking voting on multiple different fronts. So
Okay.
the same back he's attacking married women.
Oh
Here he's
God.
attacking. I just explained how. I just explained it. I know some things might be a little hard for you to comprehend, but try and pretend that I'm speaking at an elementary school level when I explain these things, please. Because you're arguing something that I just explained at an elementary school level. And you're going to law school, so you're doing it on purpose. Just for the record. And this, the attacking the second section of the Voting Rights Act, is basically saying, well, now we want to be able to attack people just because they're black with no laws to protect them. We want to be able to say you can't vote because you're black, and the only thing stopping them is this law that they're trying to that Donald Trump wants taken away right now. He wants to be able to say we don't like the color of your skin or the language you speak, and because of that, you can't vote. That's what's in court right now. To be able to say that you can't vote because you're black. You can't vote because you speak Spanish or French or whatever and don't speak English. That's what he's attacking. He wants to redistrict. They want to be able to legally say, well, we're going to redistrict based on color, which means we're going to make the votes work for people that are white so that white people get to select who represents everybody. The only thing stopping that from happening is the law that's in court right now he's trying to take away. That our my black co-host here is in favor of. Now, what did I say that was not true?
Well, in the Supreme Court, that's when the redistricting case is in front of them when it comes to, I believe, the Voting Rights Act. So that's what we're paying attention to, as opposed to on the federal level for federal voting, like Congress and United States Senate. That's why the SAVE Act needs to be passed, and the president's going to hold on to that. And it's going to be a big issue for this midterms election. So we'll see if Congress will pass the SAVE Act. In the meantime, we have this war that's clogging up certain things.
Even the Republicans are like, all right, so Chrissy pointed something out in the chat. Chrissy is on point because that's actually accurate. So here's the thing, right? It's illegal to put a tax on voting. They used to use that to hold so that only people with money can vote. You don't put a tax on voting. Saying that if you don't have a birth certificate, now you got to run out and buy a birth certificate or pay for a passport, which is $140. Being that you got to buy these things is like putting a tax on voting, which is illegal. Another way that they're breaking the law, but they break so many laws, it's hard for me to remember everything. I'm glad Chrissy's in the chat. Thank you, Chrissy. Because that too is illegal. Did you know that? No.
Well, that's the old school stuff, like the poll tax and all the other historic trauma of voting that Black people had post Reconstruction. I think what the 15th Amendment or 14th Amendment when they came to voting. So, but right now, we're in the 21st century. None of those things really apply, and people can actually get an ID or a passport or a social security card. So that's why it's not here. The only people that have to worry about that are people that are here illegally. So.
They've also made it so that once they started pushing the SAVE Act, all of the libraries that process passports suddenly are no longer able to do so. So they restricted the ability to attain a passport going in, and it takes like, you don't get a passport overnight. It doesn't happen that way. They restricted the access for people to be able to attain a passport going into passing the save, trying to pass the save act, going into the midterm elections. They're trying to interfere with the elections. And the only reason that you're not seeing it is because you do see it and that's what you want. Because somehow you think Donald Trump is going to make an exception for you and make you one of the only black people that can get up on the podium with him, like his tech friends, when he became president and we saw there wasn't a black face in the room. For some reason, you think you're an exclusive, and you probably will get your law degree, and they're going to embrace you and love you and have you there. And like January 6th, when you was with your friends, and you was the only black guy there, and like they loved you. Like you think, what was that group called again? The Donald Trump supporters, that you're the only black guy.
What? What Donald Trump to a MAGA?
You've said it in the show a million times. Proud Boys, is that them?
The Proud Boys. Okay.
Like, so, but for some reason you feel that if you're accepted by them, that they're, not really laughing at you behind your back or something, which is fine. We don't want to believe in the people that we want to believe in. You know, some people believe in 20 different gods. Some people believe in the Proud Boys.
But I
Some
believe
people
in
believe
Lord
in
Jesus
Jesus.
Christ.
There you go.
Donald Trump.
Right. Some people don't believe in aliens. Some people believe in illegal aliens. Some people believe in Donald Trump being Jesus. Are you a Jesus freak that believes that Donald Trump was sent? Because in this war, just so you know,
Yes.
overseas they're telling military people that they need to fight this war in order for World War III to start, to bring about Armageddon so Jesus returns.
That's part of like the Christian Zionists that have that in
No,
the
that
front.
is the military leaders.
I need to see that one, Leo, because so far I know that's part of Christian Zionism. So
Uh,
that's a problem.
okay. Well, this is what Donald Trump has going on. This is what your Trump got going on. Military, what is it? Military leaders talk about bringing Jesus back. I guess that's how do we do it. You could have been doing this on what's his name news.
Oh, you said it. I don't think ground
Ground news.
news
You
could
could have done it
actually
on
pull
ground
this off.
news. But based on reports from the Military Religious Freedom Foundation, in March 2026, over 100 U.S. service members have filed complaints alleging that military commanders are framing potential conflict with Iran as a biblical mandate designed to trigger the end times and return of Jesus. Did you see that?
Trying to bring it up on ground news. Okay, here we are
So,
on ground news. You want to go to ground news now?
sure, why not?
Okay.
Entertain the public.
Yes, thanks to our partners at Ground News, we're trying to make sure we keep our information, articles, and news very diverse across the board. So, according to Ground News, there was letter to other complaints to the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. This was in The Guardian, a major news outlet here in the Mayor. Reports that in complaint filed with the MRFF, U.S. soldier quotes his commanding officer saying President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire.
I
Okay, it
don't
is
mean to
also
laugh, but this stuff is so ridiculous.
right. So far, there's only been two articles, the which is center, and then it's also left leaning when it comes to these commanders. But then again, in the military as well, that's another issue. That's why I disagree with the war, is that there are a lot a concept called Christian Zionism, which a lot of people are finding to be some sort of a heresy and apostasy at this point, based on the activities in Israel. So this is 20% where I kind of disagree with people on, and it's causing a great awakening in Christianity itself to reevaluate its end times prophecies that often historically they've gotten wrong since the Protestant churches and revivals of the 1600s, if that makes sense.
I'm going to say this again,
Please
a
do.
little bit slowly. Military commanders under Donald Trump after the big meeting they had with Hegseth, where he called all the commanders in, are now at war, saying that the reason that they are fighting is to bring about the end times so that Jesus returns. So all the times when we're like, Donald Trump, why are we in war with Iran? What are we fighting for? Why are we in Iran? The military leaders are telling their troops to bring about the end times, to bring back Jesus. You're Christian. I suppose you support this, right?
No, because right now, thanks to 12 years of Catholic school education, along with my other, Christian research of the Bible, man cannot force God to do anything, in my opinion, that he won't allow or he will allow. So right now, the third temple that people believe the Jews in Israel are trying to build has been prophesied by a lot of Protestant denominations as going to lead to the end times, that Jesus will come back when this whole Armageddon war happens in Israel. For me, I believe in Lord Jesus Christ, and he's going to do it wherever he wants. But even he said in the Bible, he doesn't know when the Father is going to return. So there's a question about that. It's going to be wars and rumors of wars, according to the Bible. But in the meantime, Jesus and Christianity is not with promulgating wars. So the fact that you have ministers in the military and people that believe
These are not ministers in the military. These are military commanders under
they're
Donald Trump.
ministers, and then there's people in the military that are inspired by ministers of their faith.
These are
To put
military
the
leaders under Donald Trump. Full stop. You're
No,
trying
but
to
they
bring
have
us.
inspiration from their ministers for this concept. That's what I'm trying to say.
You can say what you want. They're military leaders. You can think what you want. You're assuming that we don't know that. The facts are the only facts that we know to be true is that there are military leaders under Donald Trump telling their troops, we got to kill people to bring about the end times so Jesus comes back.
Well, let's just say I agree that is inappropriate for them to be promulgating in the military. So,
Meanwhile, with the economy, 92,000 jobs is lost. Unemployment rate has reached 4.4. The tank market is stopped. Crude is over $100 a barrel. We're suffering. We're suffering. And you brought up the SAVE Act. Trump cursed out Mike Johnson because he hasn't been able to pass the SAVE Act because Republicans don't want to cheat. They're like, nah, because if we do it and they get back in power, who knows what'll happen? They don't want to cheat. Now, I'm going to talk about something that I reported on last year, that with this big, ugly bill, the one I like to call the big bad bill, that was about the colleges. And if you want to go to school and you're black or Spanish or anything but a white Christian male, pay attention. Because in that bill, they're able to determine who gets financial aid and who doesn't based off of, they won't say. They could indeterminately say, we just don't think you deserve financial aid. And now I said that they're going to attack minorities and women. Of course, my co-host says that, no, that's not it. But presently, blue states are trying to sue Donald Trump's administration over new race-based reporting requirements for college. And this is breaking here first.
from the Hill.
That was from the Hill. But breaking here first, the reason that he's targeting colleges to get this information is because he's going to be controlling financial aid starting this summer based on that big bad bill. And if they have the information on the schools, from the schools, on people that applying their admissions, or people applying for financial aid, they could twist their arms on who they accept, and they can control who gets financial aid. Because, as my co-host has pointed out earlier, he's trying to dismantle the Board of Education. What the truth of the matter is, Board of Education controls financial aid and grants for school as well. So by dismantling the Board of Education and getting this information over the race reporting that I don't know what else to call it, is race reporting from the colleges and dismantling the Board of Education and being able to control who gets funding to go to school, he controls who goes to school. Now, this man does not seem to be doing a lot of things to favor anybody but white Christian males. I don't know anybody that's MAGA, that's black, Spanish. Well, wait, there's a couple of Spanish guys because Marco Rubio seems to be doing okay.
People of color.
But in order to do that, he had to attack his own, the place where he came from. He literally had to attack where he came from.
Cuba?
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of Cubans in Florida beyond that don't like the communist island of Cuba.
In order to be able to get where he's at, he had to attack where he's from. That sounds like a MAGA thing. Turn on your people to try and benefit. They're going to try and make it so that your children, and you, if you're in your 20s and 30s, what is it, Gen Z? I'm lost.
I'm a millennial.
Millennial, you're
I'm a
30s, 40s.
millennial.
Right. They're trying to make it so that it's impossible for the next generation to go to school, alpha. They're going to take minorities and women in the alpha group away. They're going to take away their ability to go to school by taking away their financial aid. They're not benefiting you unless you're a white Christian male. And that's something you have to understand. What else is in the news?
You have to understand, Leo, that white Christian males make up a large portion of the voting base in this country. The more you beat up on them, the more unlikely they're going to vote for your side on any issue. Doesn't that make sense? Now, don't you think you should have a better strategy of maybe courting this voter base? Because black people, male and female, only make up basically 14% of the population spread out throughout the country with these electoral college votes. Whereas the male white Christian voter is more than that spread across this electoral college system across this country. So I think you need to think about it, Leo, before you start beating up on certain demographics. Another question I have too is, with all this demographic data that the president wants from colleges and universities, isn't that a good thing? Because that's what Democrats do. They want all democratic data whatsoever, especially about those poor, disadvantaged black people. They need that data. So I don't see any problem here.
If that data was already coming in, he wouldn't have to be trying to pass a law to get it. So obviously that's not true. Because then he would already have it because it would already be coming in.
I'm just saying Democrats love that kind of data.
If that was already happening, he would already be getting it. So the fact that he has to get it means what you're saying is not true.
Anything that Trump wants is bad. What I'm saying is that if a Democratic president wanted
obviously they're not getting that. Obviously they're not getting that data because the data is not coming in because he doesn't have it. If the Democrats wanted that data and they was getting that data, they'd already have it. It's not coming in. They don't have it. There's a reason for it. Back to your original statement.
Trump wants it. That's why. That's the reason.
Yes, because in your head, that has to be what it is. I understand. That's the MAGA bubble.
Anything Trump wants must be bad.
That's the MAGA bubble. So, what was the other thing you said? Because some of the things you say is confusing to me. That it's so ridiculous.
You think so? Okay.
Ridiculous. What was the first thing you said? Remind me.
Well, we were talking about the demographic data of colleges and universities and how Trump wanted them. And you were saying
before that, you said something before that. And then you went off to another topic.
Let me see.
No, you said something. It was you don't remember either.
No, we're talking about the Department of Education closing and how I was for that. And also
it's fine.
Okay.
All right. What else is happening? Let's see. Let's talk about the economy, shall we? Let's jump back into this terrible economy.
Okay.
I believe this is Fortune, which is right-leaning, if I'm correct,
All right. The
is
CBO.
saying that the economy is unsustainable. The U.S. is borrowing $50 billion a week in the last 5 months. Whew. Wow. That's from Fortune. That's right-leaning. So let's get this right for kicks and giggles. We're at the highest our national debt has ever been. He passes this outrageous bill that takes everybody off of Medicaid, Medicare, food stamps, that he gets to control who goes to school, increases the national debt with this bill, and makes his friends richer while doing it because of all of the tax breaks that the multimillionaires and hundreds of billionaires and billionaires get. On our backs, they get tax breaks, which means we got to pay more. Average people, anyone making less than $2 million a year. And amongst all of this happening, he finds a way to borrow $50 billion a week. That's more than $7 billion a day. So who's going to pay all this money back and how? I know finances is not your strong suit, so I'm going to make this real simple for you.
Please do.
That means for every dollar borrowed, you got to pay interest on it. Let's suppose interest is 2% on $50 billion. Now, I'm not really quick with math. What is that? $100 million a week? Something like that?
Well, you have to take 50 billion. Let's go to this calculator. You may want to share your screen. 50 billion.
It's times 0.2.
Yes, times
0.02. Wait,
zero
0.02.
two.
Right.
So basically that's $1 billion.
Oh, I'm wrong. Oof. Thank you for correcting me.
We're
So,
trying to calculate for everybody.
well, there we have it, ladies and
Do the
gentlemen.
math together.
He doesn't care about his nieces and nephews, but thank you, Chrissy. Um, so let's wrap this up, right? This topic. So he's increasing our debt by $51 billion a week. 50 billion that he's borrowing and $1 billion, and that's at 2%. God forbid it's at the real rate, I don't know, 8% that we have to pay back. Our grandchildren, our great grandchildren will be paying the debt that this man is incurring so that he can make his rich friends richer. And the most outstanding thing about the MAGA support is the billionaires are cheering for him, obvious reasons. They're getting richer. Of course they're cheering for him. Shoot, I would cheer for him too if he was making me money. But the people that are getting hurt, just like me and you, are cheering for him as well. We sit here with my co-host. He's not benefiting billions of dollars from this, but he's supporting it. I don't understand. I don't comprehend, but it is interesting for me to continue to hear this, as I'm sure it is for you because you're still tuned in. And the draft might change that. I predict, here's my prediction. We'll go into my crystal ball. The draft will come and my co-host will still be defending Trump. I've made my prediction. It is solid.
Well, I already told you that. You asked me what will break me. The draft will break me.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
I answered your question, so.
And I'm afraid my prediction. I'm looking into.
Well, we all know, our viewers that were here 1,500 plus before earlier, that if this war is over sooner than later, that then we can say, well, Leo, looks like there's no World War III to see here, and it's not as forever war like you need it to be. Understand? Just like with Venezuela, and we attacked Iran the first time. So that's what I would have ended.
And like I said, I never said that. You're making things up. I proved I didn't say it. You're still telling the same lies. It's it's
I
wild.
think
Like
I think I'll
like
make my business for next episode, guys, to have that clip where Leo said it. Yes, I gotta make a note of that.
what that you needed Ginkgoba? Something for your memory? I'll try and have that for you. Um. So what else is there? Oh, Iran is doing more than attacking us afar. The draft will be called something else by the time it comes. Perhaps they're also striking. Have you ever heard of Stryker?
No,
Apparently, they supply equipment to hospitals. Why is that important? So, if you need an X-ray, the equipment comes from Stryker. They supply the software, the updates, so on, and of course, so forth. Right? Iran has hacked their systems. What does that mean? That means surgeries are being called off. People's hospital records are being lost. And this, last I heard, it had gone on for 2 days. That was the middle of the week. I don't know what's going on now. But I read this war is causing more than the financial devastation that we've spoken of with gas prices going up, unemployment going up. $50 billion a week was for the last 5 months. That has nothing to do with the war. I'm sure that's going to go up. The 92,000 jobs lost. What else is he responsible for? Um, our peacetime president that's attacking schools with children and threatening to become a war criminal once again by attacking critical infrastructure. Um, oh my God, he's done so much. I forgot where I was left off. We've mentioned the Texas voter suppression. We've mentioned the SAVE Act. We've mentioned the fact that he's
you
destroyed
mentioned Epstein a
DEI.
thousand times.
Actually, you're the only one that mentioned Epstein. I only
No,
responded to
you
you.
mentioned Epstein all the time, Leo.
Today, the only time Epstein came up was when you brought him up. So that's how deeply you are into Epstein. You're. I didn't get to Epstein yet. I was going to, but you brought him up so many times that I wound up responding to it all. Oh no, I did bring it up at the top of the episode, leading into why he went to Iran because he was trying to cover up the Epstein files, right? Because I mean, one ties into the other. If there was no Epstein files, we would not be in Iran. Why is there a phone going off somewhere in here? My phone, but my phone is here, so it's my tablet. So he's done all of these things. He's wrecked our economy and all of this. I mean, he's done so much. I lost my train of thought. He's destroying us. He wants to. Oh, did you know that he attacked Ecuador as well?
No, I did not. I saw that in the list, but I couldn't find much on that. I think you were confused with something else. But let me
No,
go
I
back
was
into my
not.
notes. Please share your screen because I couldn't find that one. Let's see. Because I know it was another situation. He didn't attack Ecuador.
He absolutely did. Our wartime president that wants the Nobel Peace Prize, has attacked Ecuador, Venezuela.
All right. Well, according to my research on ground news, I don't know if you want me to share the screen. It was a completely a
Share it.
different situation. Okay, good. Thank God. Let's see. So if you come to our partners here at Ground News and use our promo code, you too can take advantage of these many information resources and articles. So when you put in Ecuador, you put attack, you go to the most recent dates that we have here. But as you can see, gunmen and military used to storm a rural Ecuador, properly killing seven, police say. Ecuador issues curfew. That was on the 14th. FBI opens first Ecuador office in fight against drug trafficking. Okay, that was on the 12th. On March 11th, Ecuador readies a major offensive on criminal groups with U.S. logistical support. And on and on and on. So for me, this tells me that the United States is working very closely with Ecuador. Let's see, which one has the most articles? This is 198. Okay, let's go with FBI opens first door. There's 31 articles here. Drug trafficking, United States, open the FBI. Okay, to come back. Drug trafficking. All right, let's go to which one? Left, center, or right, Leo? You pick your
We
point.
know
Which
what
one
the
you take
right
it
we know
from?
what the right is saying. Let's go to the center. Let's get real news instead
Okay,
of the
it's
bubble.
center. FBI opens permanent office Ecuador as U.S. boosts security ties. Ecuador agrees the U.S. on a permanent presence of FBI agents in the country. FBI expands president in the office of Ecuador. FBI opens first Ecuador office to fight against drug trafficking. It looks like thanks to what happened in Venezuela and Mexico. Remember we attacked that guy in Mexico, the cartel leader? Looks like the South American and Central American countries, thanks to our partners at Ground News, basically say, hey, come on in, America, and help us with our criminal cartel drug trafficking activity. Nothing to see here, Leo. No attack whatsoever. Unless you can actually show our viewers what you're talking about. Because that's what I found out our partners at Ground News.
Okay, this is where critical thinking comes into play.
Please.
First of all, there was no drug lord arrested in Venezuela. They took their president.
I talking about the
So
brother was killed in Mexico.
what happened? So, okay, let's talk about it. What is the FBI responsible for and what is their jurisdiction?
Well, the Federal Bureau of Investigations normally deals with domestic stuff, but they can also handle international stuff that's in connection with domestic stuff, my friend. The CIA, on the other hand, deals with international stuff. However, if international stuff like sleeper cells here in a damn country, thanks to open border, they could also fall under their purview. Now, the FBI and the CIA communicating with each other would be great, but that's when the Department of Homeland Security comes into play. And on and on and on. DOD or the Department of War, Leo, it's up to you about the rebranding. There you go.
So they attacked Venezuela and now they're able to open an office in Ecuador while boots are on the ground in Iran. They're lifting sanctions on Russia. They're continuing to trade with China. It
Uh,
seems like it seems like things are not going well internationally.
Nor nationally when it comes to domestic terrorism. Yes, you're right.
It's Cash Patel. What do you expect from this? Cash
It's not
Patel.
Cash Patel's fault that domestic terrorism was going to be there. Super cells would have awakened anyway if they didn't like what's happening in their own Islamic countries. So that's why we can't have an open border, Leo. That's why I agree with our illegal immigration policy. People have got to go. They got to be properly vetted.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we're down to 1K viewership.
Okay, so then I guess you're right. We should be trying to wrap this up. Well, ICE has already killed Renee Good, Alex Freddie, and possibly others. We know of at least one child.
All right.
Let's talk about ICE. We already spoke about the fact that they're stockpiling weapons. Why they stockpiling weapons prior to going into the midterm elections where the SAVE Act is being done, the Voter Registration Act, second section is being trying to be struck down while redistricting is occurring, while they're trying to pass the SAVE Act. Did I say that already? There's so much stuff. There's so many different ways they're trying to interfere with the election. Finally, they're trying to put ICE at every polling booth that has Democratic voters, and they're trying to stockpile weapons before they do it. Why do you think this is occurring?
Well, because now, my friend, like I've been alluding to all episode, sleeper cells have been activated in this country because,
But
unfortunately,
they was doing this before the war. They was doing this. This is prior to the war. So no.
oh,
Next.
okay. Well, be that as it may, because there's so much civil unrest surrounding these damn illegals countrywide, looks like they have to up their game now more so than
So
ever,
so
Leo.
let me so your response to this is that ICE has to arm themselves because of protesters. So this is Iran?
So does Iran. What do you mean?
Isn't that what Trump complains about in Iran? Oh, they shoot protesters? Isn't that what's happening with Alex Freddie? Renee Good, and now you want to give them more weapons? So we're going to act like the same people? Isn't that his reason for wanting to attack Iran? Isn't that one of his main things? Or did they shoot protesters there?
Unfortunately, Iran is a dictatorship. However, in our republic, we voted for the president to actually implement a strong immigration policy. So that's the difference, Leo. It didn't come from a dictator. It came from the voter base of his
What?
regime.
So what makes the Ayatollah a dictator?
He's not
Wasn't he voted in?
well amongst his peers, but not by the people.
Oh wow, this sounds
And
almost
his
like the
son
United
is now
States.
next in line. So that's nepotism and cronyism.
What was it? Wasn't he like Bush Jr.? So it's not, so you're saying they're basically the
So
same as
people
the
voted
United
for Bush
States?
Jr., my friend.
So you're saying they're basically like the United States?
No, they're not. It's a theocracy, my friend, which is Islam.
And this is absurd versions of Christianity, which is the exact same thing, if
No,
not worse.
no, stop
Listen,
that, please.
more people died, more slaves were controlled
Oh
under
boy,
the name
here
of
we go.
under the what? Oh my God, no, not facts. Please don't speak facts. Not facts again. Oh
Oh,
my God, history and facts, reality, truth. Why are we doing this? More slaves were taken, more people were murdered under the name of Jesus than in Islam, under the Catholic Church. This country was taken. They, according to your history books, all of the people that was native to this country, according to your history books, was killed by the Christians. Oh, Islam is worse? I'm waiting. Response.
looks that way, especially with these
Ah,
supercells.
right. Because if you're a Christian, you just come and kill everybody. You don't like the commanders are saying, going in start Armageddon in World War III. Because that's what they're saying. Armageddon and end times. Armageddon. So who's worse, the Christians or Islam? I think the ones trying to bring about the end times scare me more. But they don't scare you more?
No, not really. Why? Because I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh, you're really insane. All right.
Am I?
You just said that the fact they're trying to bring on Armageddon by slaughtering people, and you smiled and said you were good with it just now. You're out your goddamn
No, you
mind.
asked me what I'm scared more of, the Islams or the Christians. I said I'm
They,
scared of all. Because I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. That's why I'm not scared.
well, they're
Maybe
trying to
you're
bring Jesus
scared.
back. They're trying to bring Jesus back by slaughtering millions of people, and you're good with that because it's Jesus involved, right?
No, I'm not good with that at all. That's why I'm 80s,
But then
20s
Jesus
focused.
won't come back, right?
Well, Jesus will come back when the Father wants him to come back. With me, so far I'm good.
Well,
But like,
you believe in the prophecy, don't you?
not so much. I mean, right now it's
Oh,
being proven.
you don't believe in the prophecy?
Well, Leo, like I said, right now, because of what's going on, people, like a lot of other prophecies that came out of the 1600s Protestant
No, we're
denominations here in
talking about
America.
Revelations in particular when everybody has to meet in Armageddon, which is in the Middle East, and fight because I think it was the fifth horn is blown. It's been a while since Revelations. I'm no longer Christian, but I studied it in depth at one point.
Okay.
But I did study in depth at one point. I believe that's the fifth horn. And what did you get the four horsemen coming, and the pale horseman represents death.
Woo! Four horsemen.
And as a Christian, this doesn't like just do it for you.
No,
Like,
I don't like people getting killed in mass in the name of Jesus. That's not cool. So hopefully that's for the record for all the people watching it, over 2,000 people that were conned up a little bit right now.
I guess people wanted to hear what you had to say about the fact that Jesus is murdering people or wants people murdered for him to come, or at least that's what the commanders are saying. Because, we got to bring back the end time. We got to bring about the end times and have Armageddon so that Jesus comes. And MAGA, as a MAGA person, you're saying you don't support this. And that's fine. But then if that's coming from Donald Trump's administration through his generals and his admirals, and you don't support that, how do you still support Donald Trump? Oh, because the draft is in
That's
soon.
the 80
You know how
20,
crazy that
80
shit sounds?
20,
There's no
80
draft.
20. That's the 20 I don't agree with. I still agree with the 80%, which I outlined early in the episode. So if you rewind this episode, family, you'll see why I support Donald Trump and the 80% of America first, borderline America only.
This is insane. So it's okay that they want to bring about end times, have Armageddon,
I said no.
But you support Donald Trump through wanting to bring back end times, having Armageddon in order to bring Jesus back. You don't agree with him, but you still support him. But if he brings back the draft, that's it. You're done.
I can see that for you, Leo. So let's see what happens.
Yo, y'all listening to this? I gotta laugh, but there's nothing funny. This is the insanity of MAGA. And what is left before we depart? I think that's it. The West Virginia courts went against ICE. Like, nah, get out of my state. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Mike Walsh went from national security. Oh, Mike Walsh went from national security advisor to ambassador to the UN. Well, we never talked about that. What do you think about the Mike Walsh firing? Yeah, we never talked about it. You're happy he got fired? Oh no, we did talk. We talked about it last week. So I guess that's it. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to send us a cup of coffee, help us get a bite to eat, feel free. If you want to join the subscriptions, there will be that's a place where you can get private videos. We talk about things. We'll give critical analysis you can't get anyplace else. It's only in our private sector. In our private section, we're starting to do some private videos this week. This is Leo and Dion. Anything you want to say, Dion?
We are the media, and now so are you. So make sure you share our content and add your own. That way, we'll make the algorithm pay attention to all of us.
All right. Akun, I don't expect us to de-escalate anytime soon. I hear you, but I unfortunately don't foresee that. Amersa, I hope you got a better understanding of what's happening. We're at war because the president's crazy and people actually voted for him. People are really divided on this topic. Not as much as they were. We were divided, but people are pretty much drawing a consensus of we do not belong in Iran. And inflation and war fears at the same time is rough. Yes, prices are going up on everything. The economy's in shambles. They're floating the idea of a draft. They're we're being a striker, by the way, is to provide hospital equipment. So people are losing their medical records. People are not having surgeries. Like it's scary. So we're getting attacks from multiple different directions, and it's because the president wants to cover up the Epstein files. That's it. We're cooked. Thank you, Crizzy. Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is Leon Dion signing out.